Have you ever wondered if there's a powerful, almost secret blueprint for turning your biggest dreams into tangible reality?
You know, one that's quietly shaped the lives of countless successful individuals for decades.
Well, today, we're doing a deep dive into exactly that, the timeless philosophy of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
That's right. And this isn't just a simple book review. We've gone even deeper today. We're drawing directly from Hill's original writings, early forewords, and historical accounts to really get to the heart of his timeless wisdom.
Okay.
Our mission really is to extract those essential, enduring nuggets that have made this framework so powerful, specifically for you.
So where do we even begin this journey, this path to turning thoughts into riches? Hill says it all starts with one fundamental spark, something simple yet, well, profoundly potent: desire. Not just a fleeting wish, but what he calls a burning desire, a consuming obsession.
What's truly compelling here is how these anecdotes underscore that desire is an active, almost magnetic force, not passive hoping.
Right.
It's about setting a truly definite goal and, crucially, being willing to offer something of equal value in return.
Okay.
As the text highlights, if you do not see great riches in your imagination, you will never see them in your bank balance. It directly links that internal vision to the external outcome.
And Hill gives us such powerful examples. I mean,
Right.
think about Edwin C. Barnes.
Oh, yeah.
He literally arrived at Thomas Edison's office looking like someone who'd just hopped off a freight train, right? But his mind was set like a laser.
Total focus.
He showed up with one consuming obsession to become Edison's business associate. His desire was so definite, so keen, that he was content to start with the most menial work.
For years.
Yeah, she persisted for 5 long years without encouragement, burned all bridges behind him, refusing to quit. When the opportunity finally appeared, this Edison dictating machine, which apparently no one else thought could be sold, Barnes seized it.
He saw the opening.
He sold it so successfully that Edison gave him a national distribution contract, and Barnes ultimately built a fortune. What stands out there is his unwavering focus, not just on the outcome, but the process, no matter how humble the start.
It's a powerful testament to absolute determination, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And we see the same this intensity with Henry Ford.
Right, the V8 engine story.
Exactly. He decided to produce his famous V8 engine, instructing his engineers to cast all 8 cylinders in one block.
And they said,
Impossible. To a man, they declared it impossible. But Ford just commanded, go ahead and stay on the job until you succeed, no matter how much time is required.
just like that.
6 months passed, then another 6,
Right.
nothing. But Ford's determination never wavered. He just kept saying, I want it and I'll have it.
Wow.
And then, almost like magic, the secret was discovered. Ford's sheer will had won again.
Even Napoleon Hill himself experienced this intensity of desire, right, with his son.
That's right, his son Blair, born without normal hearing. Hill, driven by this burning desire and, importantly, unwavering faith, committed to finding a way to convey sound to his son's brain.
So he didn't just accept it?
No, he filled Blair's mind with the desire to hear, and against all odds, Blair actually began to develop hearing and speech.
Incredible.
Years later, Blair's own desire to turn his disability into an asset led to an idea for a hearing aid company, proving, as Hill wrote, that desire backed by faith knows no such word as impossible.
It's that deep internal certainty that seems to make all the difference.
And once that burning desire is established, it needs a place to work, a workshop.
Okay.
That's where imagination comes in. Hill described it as the literal workshop wherein are fashioned all plans created by humankind. It's the mental space where thoughts start to take shape, become possibilities.
It's where thoughts become things. Like the story of the enchanted kettle.
Oh, the Coca-Cola origin?
Yeah. 50 years before the book, a drug clerk, Asa Candler, invested just $500 his entire savings for a secret formula and an old kettle.
Just $500.
Right. But what he mixed into that formula wasn't just sugar and water. It was immense imagination and relentless work.
The secret ingredients.
Totally. Candler worked 14-hour days, set strict goals, absolutely refused to fail. His consuming obsession created the vast empire of Coca-Cola, a worldwide phenomenon from a single idea and, well, probably a lot of caffeine for Asa Candler himself.
That's a great way to put it. And then there's that really inspiring story of Dr. Frank W. Gonzalez.
The college founder.
Yes. He desired $1 million to build a unique college, where students would actually learn by doing. He thought about it for 2 years, but nothing happened.
Stuck.
Right. Then he made a definite decision. He would get the money within 1 week.
Wow, bold move.
He didn't know how, but the moment he made that decision, this strange feeling of assurance came over him. He announced a sermon for the next morning titled, "What I Would Do If I Had $1 Million." His subconscious mind, which had been preparing for 2 years, just spontaneously supplied the material during the sermon. And afterwards, a man came up and offered him the exact sum needed.
Just like that.
It really highlights the power of making that definite decision. It seems to unlock something.
And this leads us right into a crucial point about the subconscious mind. Our sources describe it as the connecting link between our finite human minds and what Hill calls infinite intelligence.
Right. It's the bridge.
Right.
It's where our abstract desires can be literally transmuted, transformed or changed into concrete, tangible realities.
So how does that work exactly?
Well, the subconscious takes orders, but they need to be given in a spirit of absolute faith. And often these orders need repetition to really sink in, to be imprinted.
Repetition and faith.
Crucially, Hill emphasizes that only emotionalized thoughts have any Edasian influence upon the subconscious mind.
So it's not just thinking, it's feeling.
Exactly. It highlights the importance of truly feeling your desires, not just mentally reciting them. It's the emotional charge you put behind the words that the subconscious responds to.
And it won't just sit there passively either.
Yeah, no, it won't remain idle. If you fail to deliberately plant your definite desires in your subconscious mind, it will feed on whatever negative thoughts reach it through your neglect, fear, poverty, doubt, whatever's drifting around.
So you have to be intentional.
Definitely. Which really makes you wonder then about the power of our own self-talk in all of this.
How so?
As the text states, one comes finally to believe whatever one repeats to oneself, whether the statement be true or false.
Wow.
That's the essence of autosuggestion, of building belief. Your dominant thoughts, positive or negative, will eventually reproduce themselves in outward action and transform into physical reality.
Okay, so we've got the clear desire, we're shaping it with imagination, feeding it emotionally to our subconscious. But what keeps it going? What's the fuel that ensures we actually reach our destination?
That would be persistence, plain and simple.
Right.
Hill calls it the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. The sources are crystal clear. Without persistence, you will be defeated even before you start. With persistence, you will win.
And the failure part.
Crucially, every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success. Persistence is basically the bridge between your desire and it actually showing up in the real world.
It means that no matter how many times you face defeat, maybe even ridicule, you just keep going.
Exactly. Like Fannie Hurst, the novelist.
Tell us about her.
She spent 4 years laboring by day and hoping by night in New York, trying to turn her writing into riches. Broadway isn't easy, right?
Notoriously tough.
But she refused to quit. She apparently told herself, "Very well, Broadway, you may whip some, but not me. I'm going to force you to give up." And she did. She conquered the Great White Way. Her story is just a perfect example of sheer stubbornness turning into success.
Wow. Force you to give up. I like that.
We see it with Kate Smith, too, the singer. She sang for years without pay in front of any microphone she could find. Broadway tested her, definitely. But she persisted until, as the source puts it, Broadway got tired of turning them away.
Wore them down.
Pretty much. She finally got to name her price, and it was a price that surpassed what most people earned in an entire year back then. She simply kept showing up.
That's powerful. And the story of Muhammad, that's an incredible example of persistence against huge odds.
Absolutely incredible. After a decade of banishment, poverty, ridicule, he rose to rule Mecca and establish a new world religion within another 10 years.
What fueled him?
Hill attributes it to the power of words, the efficacy of prayer, and man's kinship with God. He even formed this democratic army despite strong initial opposition from the businessmen of Mecca. His persistence was just this unstoppable flame against immense opposition.
So what stops most people? What are the enemies of persistence?
Well, the sources lay out 16 symptoms of lack of persistence, which are described as the real enemies standing between you and achievement.
Like what? Give us an example.
Okay, well, one is blaming others for one's mistakes. Hill argues it isn't just, a character flaw, it's a fundamental roadblock.
Why?
Because if you're always externalizing fault, you're never internalizing the lessons you need for growth, for self-mastery. You just keep repeating the same patterns.
Makes sense. Any others that really stand out?
Oh, definitely. One of the most insidious, he says, is the fear of criticism.
What other people think.
Exactly. It destroys initiative and discourages the use of imagination. It's apparently so powerful it even affected Napoleon Hill himself when Andrew Carnegie first gave him that huge 20-year assignment.
Really? Even him?
Yeah. His mind immediately started generating excuses, all traceable back to that fear, asking things like, what will your relatives think of you? And who are you anyway to aim so high? It's deep-seated.
That's relatable. And then there's the story of Wallace Simpson. How does that fit persistence?
Well, it's framed as persistence in love. Having failed twice in her search for it, she persisted and ultimately triumphed over unbelievably long odds to marry King Edward VIII. But maybe the bigger point there is King Edward himself. He demonstrated incredible courage and, importantly, definite decision by giving up his entire throne for what was his greatest desire, love. He paid the price, made the choice.
A huge price. This ties into the fears Hill identifies, doesn't it?
It does. He outlines 6 basic fears that hold us back: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death.
And which one does he think is the worst?
The fear of poverty is highlighted as the most destructive. He says it paralyzes reason, destroys imagination. It invites failure in every conceivable form, even though we live, theoretically, in a world of overabundance.
So how do we fight these fears then? What's the strategy?
The key, according to Hill, is first recognizing your own susceptibility, then deliberately closing your mind to negative influences, people, news, your own thoughts.
Be selective.
Very. And consciously seek the company of those who influence you to think and act for yourself. It's ultimately about conquering self, which, as one philosopher put it, is, of all things, the most shameful and vile to be conquered by yourself, by your own fears.
Okay, so conquering self is crucial. But Hill also talks about needing more than just individual persistence for big achievements.
Right. Building on persistence, true success, especially in accumulating riches, isn't usually a solitary journey. It requires what he calls specialized knowledge and the mastermind principle.
Specialized knowledge.
Yeah.
So not just general knowledge.
Exactly. It's not just about what you know in general, but how you use specific knowledge. Hill makes it really clear that knowledge itself has no inherent value except that which can be gained from its application towards some worthy end.
So a college degree isn't the point necessarily.
Not in itself. It's less valuable, in Hill's view, than highly specific applied knowledge that solves a problem or provides a service people need.
Got an example?
Yeah, Stuart Austin Weir, he was a construction engineer in his 40s, married during the Depression. Tough time.
Definitely.
His market dried up completely, so he decided to change professions entirely. He went out and acquired highly specialized knowledge, retrained, and became a corporation lawyer in just 2 years.
Wow, that's fast.
And he built a lucrative law practice in Dallas, apparently so successful he even had to turn away clients. It just proves the power of acquiring and then rigorously applying specific, targeted knowledge.
Okay, and what about Dan Halpin? His story fits here too.
Yes, perfectly. He started selling hearing aids during the Depression, a job he really didn't like. But he refused to just settle or compromise with a career that didn't align with his bigger goals.
He had a definite chief aim.
Exactly. That aim to rise led him quickly from salesman to assistant sales manager, then sales manager for a major competitor, and finally vice president of the company, all in little more than 6 months.
Incredible climb.
And Hill notes his close association with a winning mentor, Newt Rockne, the football coach, planted that same desire to excel. It shows the powerful influence of being around a winning mindset.
So specialized knowledge, mentors. And that brings us to the mastermind. What exactly is that?
It's defined in the book as coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between 2 or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose.
Okay, so teamwork, but with a specific energy.
Kind of. Hill believed this creates immense power and almost psychic synergy. He called it a third mind, where the combined energy and knowledge becomes available to every individual brain in the group, amplifying everyone's abilities.
Like Henry Ford again.
Perfect example. Humble beginnings, little formal schooling, no inherited wealth, but within 25 years, one of the richest men in America.
Oh, mastermind group.
Right. He surrounded himself with brilliant minds like Thomas Edison, Harvey Firestone, John Burroughs, Luther Burbank. He deliberately absorbed their vibrations of thought, as Hill puts it, adding their intelligence, experience, and knowledge to his own. It was a true intellectual alliance.
And Gandhi, how did he use this?
Gandhi accomplished what Hill calls a similar miracle. He wielded immense power, maybe more than anyone else alive at the time, but not through money or armies.
Through influence.
Through his ability to transplant faith and purpose into the minds of 200 million people, inducing them to coalesce, to move in unison as a single, unified mastermind for a common goal: independence. Unbelievable coordination.
That scale is staggering. And the American Revolution example.
Yeah, presented as another powerful historical example of a mastermind. It started small. John Hancock, Samuel Adams, Richard Henry Lee formed an initial group.
The core.
That led to the Committee of Correspondence linking the colonies, and then the crucial, definite decision to call the First Continental Congress on September 5, 1774.
And that date is significant.
Our sources state Hill considered this date more important than July 4th, 1776, because that was the moment the unified decision was made. Their unwavering courage, even facing treason charges, essentially ensured victory long before the battles were won. It was the power of that unified decision, that mastermind.
And this really hammers home the courage needed for definiteness of decision, doesn't it?
Absolutely. These historical examples vividly illustrate that a vacillating man, no matter what his abilities, is invariably pushed to the wall in the race of life by a determined will. You have to commit fully, no halfway.
Now, our sources also place this whole philosophy within the specific context of America at that time.
Right. Hill emphasizes what he saw as the unique freedoms and opportunities inherent in its capitalistic system.
He lists them out, right?
Yeah, he enumerates freedoms available to every citizen. Freedom of thought, expression, education, religion, freedom to engage in business, own property, choose where to live, marry, and have equal opportunity. He saw this as the foundation upon which his philosophy could best be applied.
And he uses that breakfast example to illustrate the system behind it all.
Yes, that detailed example of the average American family's breakfast back then.
Florida orange juice, Kansas wheat for cereal and toast,
Chinese tea, South American bananas, local eggs, sugar from Utah or Texas.
Right.
He uses it to illustrate the immense organized capital, billions in railroads, ships, trucks, plus millions of workers required just to deliver those seemingly simple items to the table.
It really shows the sheer scale of the organized effort involved in the economy.
And this detailed example serves to clarify what Hill refers to as the law of economics, which, from his perspective, governs how riches are accumulated.
Which is?
It states, there is but one dependable method of accumulating and legally holding riches, and that is by rendering useful service.
Service for value.
Exactly. The system, as Hill interpreted it, simply does not and cannot promise something for nothing. It's important for listeners to remember these are Hill's analyses from his specific time and viewpoint, presented here as part of his overall philosophy.
And he was critical of attempts to bypass that law.
Yes, he critiques what he saw as the getting without giving mentality, or trying to gain riches through force rather than value. He uses the anthracite coal industry during the Depression as an example.
What happened there?
He argued that greed, from both the operators demanding high prices and labor leaders demanding high wages without necessarily increasing value, essentially destroyed their own business. Prices went so high that it created huge opportunities for competing industries, like oil-burning outfits, to take over the market.
A cautionary tale from his perspective.
Right. From Hill's viewpoint, the system ensures the opportunity to render useful service and collect riches in proportion to that value, but it can't sustain itself if the focus shifts to just taking without giving corresponding value. He even warns that ignoring this economic law and attempting to take by force could ultimately lead towards dictatorship, a path he felt America had fortunately avoided.
Okay, so that sets the stage. Now, to wrap things up, let's confront what Hill calls one of the biggest, most insidious obstacles.
Ah, yes, the 57 famous alibis.
Tell us about those.
These are the airtight alibis, the excuses that people who don't succeed use to explain away their lack of achievement.
Things we tell ourselves.
Exactly. He calls them children of one's own imagination and says, we defend them fiercely because, well, we created them. They feel like part of us.
Can you give a couple of examples? What do they sound like?
Oh, sure. They're things like, if I had money, or if I had a good education, or if I had better health, or if times were better, or a big one, if I did not fear what they would say.
Oof, that fear of criticism again.
Right. And maybe the ultimate alibi, the one that cuts deepest. If I had the courage to see myself as I really am, I would find out what is wrong with me and correct it.
Wow, that's blunt.
It is. But the powerful countermessage here is that The philosophy presented in this book makes every one of these alibis obsolete.
How so?
Because the tools are all there. Desire, faith, imagination, persistence, decision, the mastermind. If you apply them, the IFs become irrelevant. The ultimate victory, as Plato suggested and Hill echoes, is to conquer self.
Like Henry Ford said, you either control your mind or it controls you. There's no halfway.
Exactly. It's all about cultivating mind control, not in a weird way, but through self-discipline and habit. Keeping your mind busy with a definite purpose, backed by a definite plan.
So you don't leave space for the doubts and fears.
Precisely. And it's about taking action quickly because, as Hill warns, every minute an idea lives gives it a better chance of surviving. That fear of criticism, especially, can kill a great idea before it even gets planned out.
Don't let the alibis win.
Don't let them win.
And wasn't there a poem Hill liked about this?
Yes. Remember the inspiring poem, It Couldn't Be Done? It was apparently a favorite of Napoleon Hill's wife, Annie Lou.
Right.
It just perfectly captures that spirit of tackling the impossible with a can-do attitude, reminding us to just buckle right in with a bit of a grin and, just go do it. Forget the naysayers.
A great mindset to end on. So we've really taken a deep dive today, haven't we?
Yeah.
Uncovering these powerful, timeless principles.
Yeah, the burning desire, that creative imagination, the unwavering persistence.
The strength of the mastermind, needing specialized knowledge, and ultimately the absolute necessity of conquering our own fears and alibis.
You really do have a clearer roadmap now, hopefully, to achieving your own definite chief aim. It's a framework built on the experiences of countless successful individuals, synthesized by Hill.
So as you go forward from here, maybe consider this provocative thought for your own exploration. Hill wrote, "The world is filled with an abundance of opportunity the dreamers of the past never knew." Thinking about that, how will you leverage these timeless insights to dream boldly and build your own reality? Especially now in a world that keeps changing, presenting new challenges, but also perhaps even greater opportunities than Hill could have imagined, much like the challenging times when this philosophy itself was first forged. Something to think about.